Tom, you've been an observer of American politics for years. To give us a short overview, has something really changed regarding climate protection and environmental politics in the US?
Well, I think the most visible change is that Arnold Schwarzenegger, a Republican, belongs to the same party as President Bush, got his re-election accomplished basically on a green platform. So he managed a switch away from the majority in his party to become a green governor and to convince voters that he took these concerns to heart, which means that California, which is the biggest, largest single economic bloc within the United States, and I think the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world, has taken environmental concerns to heart. And you cannot win an election without reflecting that and without putting that high on the agenda. And that shows you it's a big impetus. That doesn't mean it transfers to the heartland immediately, but it is the biggest bloc.
If we see, however, we see that then President Bush at the moment puts climate politics on the agenda. For what reasons?
Well, Bush, I think he's just trying to save whatever he can save of his presidency, to be blunt. But he does have one issue on his mind and in his heart that he cares about, and I think that is something that we overlook in Europe, and that is important to get the environmental concerns into the administration's policy agenda through the back door. And that issue is energy independence. After 9/11, Americans realized, and Bush made it part of his agenda, that they're dependent on oil from a region that is politically the most unstable region in the world, and that also is home to the breeding ground, basically, to a lot of the fanaticism that threatens the United States and the West. So the independence of oil from the Middle East has become a top national security issue, and that's how Bush clicks. And so through the back door, this has become relevant for climate issues because it's a fossil fuel. If oil wasn't a fossil fuel, it wouldn't make a dent. But oil is a fossil fuel, so if he says we're addicted to oil, that's his quote, we have to wean Americans off oil, it has relevance. And good for everybody that cares about the environment, whether it's dear to his heart or not, but through the back door it becomes relevant.
We see that Americans, as far as I can evaluate that, look upon Germany and say, well, they do, like Chancellor Merkel and the EU presidency, they say, well, they can do something about the climate change. Why is it that they say Germans or the EU is eager to change politics?
I think the main thing is that the Bush administration sees Angela Merkel as the most dependable and reliable and fair, unbiased partner that they can get, and a partner that has clout in Europe. She got elected, although she, heads a very difficult coalition, and domestically maybe her clout is limited, but on the international scale she's very diplomatic and can get things done in Europe. So she's a reliable partner. She's not anti-American. She has to keep her distance from Bush in some parts. So they're willing to give her something. And climate is something she cares about, but it's also something that Germans care about. She has to show some success. She has to show that she gets Bush to move into her direction. So they were willing. So I think these are some main reasons. But I think that the limits, we've just heard from Washington that some red lines have been crossed by the Merkel chancellery, and so I think we've reached the limit on how many concessions the Bush administration is willing to make.
Thanks, Tom.